as an exception to the norm. But it is just to say.
It's time for the Jay Foreman postgame show.
Here's Coy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score.
Look to the left, and he kind of telegraphed it all the way. When the ball was tipped, Foreman's in the right spot.
Sponsored by Tanner's Bar and Grill, Vinnie Creekat, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical.
Here's Valenti dropping back, fires a pass, and it's intercepted by the Huskers at the 25, Jay Foreman. And Foreman takes it down to the 19-yard line of Oklahoma. Another big play by the Black Shirts.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, Husker fans, Husker Nation? We are here for the first Jay Foreman after game show. And unfortunately, it's the same old thing, just a different day. But I think you have some encouraging signs. But, we have to dive into this game. I mean, it's the first one of Matt Rule. I know some people are going to initial reaction is going to be the same old Nebraska, but we also have to look at some of the things they did that were probably exceeding expectations. I mean, I got my man Nick here, got my man Harrison in the background. I encourage everybody in the text, light up the text line, light up the phone lines. We're going to be here for 90 minutes all the way to midnight, taking your calls, suggestions. We want to hear your anger, your hope, and so forth and so on. But my initial thoughts of this game here, it comes down to crucial things. And overall, I think the small things and details are you could tell they look like a better team, right? More competitive, ability to come over a first half interception that you could probably argue that Kemp could have made a better effort towards it, right? But it's still an interception. Then you go and you have and I understand most people would say, okay, we need to call a timeout there on the half-yard line, right? But then it gives the Gophers to bring in their goal line package, so forth and so on, and you've been pounding them. But then you have Ethan Piper, who's kind of one of your captaincy positions, right? False starts, 5 yards or five-yard or penalty. Next thing you know, Jeff Sims throws in the triple coverage. No points going into halftime. Points are paramount. If you look at just getting 3 points before halftime, if was a fifth, we'd all be drunk, but we'd be drunk and still tied up 13-13 for the Gophers, going into overtime right now. And then, look, when you have 4 turnovers, it's hard to beat anybody. I mean, you lose 13-10, Nick, and the last 3 points come in the last 8 seconds. Anytime that you give up 13 points in the Big Ten or in Power 5 football or in football, period, Pee-wee leagues, high school leagues, small college, doesn't matter where it's at, you should win 90, 95, 98% of the time. Yep. And especially on the road. And did the defense play perfect? No. The last touchdown, right, just to be bluntly honest, Hartzog he didn't play the defense that was called. It was sloppy technique. It was laziness. It was playing that, thinking it looked like, oh, they're not going to throw my way. Well, they've been picking on you all night and been thinking that route was over, right? Well, route was there because 2 plays prior, they almost completed it, but he was way out of bounds. Not the same route, something towards it. So you always have to put that in your mental bank. That's what happens when you have a young team. But ultimately, 4 turnovers, three picks, and a fumble, is a recipe for disaster. And I will say this: Jeff Sims, obviously when you think of 3 turnovers, there's the offensive line blocking. Yeah, there was times that Gophers had it. They made a effort this offseason to get better at pass rushing, and they went and got some guys. They had some pressure, but a lot of those interceptions, especially the first, there was no pressure.
Yeah,
there was none. Nick.
First and the last one.
No pressure.
Nothing.
None. The one in the second half, there wasn't any pressure. Borkature was wide open. Mm-hmm. You can't predetermine where you're going. In this day and age of college football, you have a first-round safety back there. Okay. Yeah. Joe Rossi is one of the best defensive coordinators in the nation. He studied you from back in Georgia Tech. You have to know who you're going against, why you're going against them, and what they're going to do to you. So, Nick, what do you think, man? I mean, look at I mean, I know. Look, we asked you pregame what you thought.
Yeah.
You know, because you're young, right off campus. You know, newly graduated. You know, what's your initial thoughts about the loss, what it looked like, and what do you think it looks like for the future?
Well, I think it's frustrating because, and we're getting a lot of things saying that the refs missing a false start on that touchdown catch. The way I respond to that is maybe that's accurate, maybe that's true. But if Nebraska, once again, as we discussed multiple times in the pregame show and throughout the entire offseason, and frankly, as Matt Rule has talked about, control the things they control.
Right.
You're sitting there. Nebraska has probably a 17-3 lead at that point.
Right.
And that touchdown, okay, yeah, they missed an extra point. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right. If Anthony Grant's able to hold on to the football, Minnesota's probably not even in that position at that point.
They have no confidence.
So once again, it's 17-3, and you're sitting there going, all right, Nebraska, you feel like you're in control of this game. So I think, once again, as we discussed at the pregame show, you can't lose a turnover battle, nonetheless, 4-1. I mean, Nebraska, and I actually tweeted something out in the first half of the game. Nebraska was fortunate at times to be only down 3-0. They were fortunate at times to be down 3-0. They didn't have much of a pass rush in the first half.
Right.
They did. I told you right when you came into the station today, Jay, I said, it actually looks like they're starting to hit a little bit harder. Right. We saw some guys get some happy feet from Minnesota later in the second half when Nebraska had all the momentum. I liked the way Nebraska came out of the locker room in the third quarter. Ramir Johnson gets that big kickoff return, as we talked about in the pregame show, and they go down, and as despite it looking terrible, the trick play worked, and Alex Bull got a touchdown. Right. Points all count the same no matter how they come. Nebraska had control in the second half, and then one thing goes wrong, and it all falls apart.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say it fell apart. I just, because I mean, look, I'm not here and you know, I don't have any. All I am is a former player, and I love Nebraska. So I don't have any allegiance, but I'm an allegiance to tell you the truth. It looks the same, but it's not, because it's a fumble, right?
Yeah.
It's a great play by number 5.
It was.
And when you punch the ball out when somebody's not looking, it's not head-on contact and you're punching it out. It's a great play by number 5. Bad ball technique by Anthony Grant. I'd like to see with better ball technique, does it really come out? Okay, fumbles there. But at the end of the day, you got them to go to 4th and 10. Okay.
Yeah.
You make that play, game's over. Game's over. Okay. The game's over. I mean, at that point.
Because the little life that Minnesota's had or gathered,
it's done.
You sucked the life out of it.
If you make that play, it's done. You got beat on a pretty much a corner route when he was faking to go into where he had 2 defenders. It's a zone coverage. Great call by Tony White. Bad execution by the defense. That's not a domino effect from an offensive play. What that is a young player, okay, thinking it is never going to come back around to me.
Yeah.
And why would they throw it all the way over there? Because, you know, Minnesota did a really good job. They were hitting you with Spain, hitting you with Spain, hitting you with Spain. Subconsciously, you're thinking they're going to the 6'6" tight end out there to the boundary, right? Well, they just said, you know what? We see a young corner over there. He's biting on kind of a double move. Let's see if he has bad technique. Well, they got him, and they tied the game up. And then you get the ball in a 2-minute situation. At no point in time in that first half did they look like they could drive the ball consistently in a 2-minute drill. They are driving the ball. Timely runs, good passes, and then you stare down your receiver, and their safety comes from the other side of the formation to intercept it, pretty much to ice the game. You get a couple plays, and they, you know, their kicker, who's one of the best kickers that was coming out of high school, kind of like our kicker, hits the game winner just that quick.
That's what's frustrating is Minnesota was able to give their one of the best kickers out of high school a chance,
right?
And Nebraska wasn't.
Right. Yeah. Well, they were on their way, but
but
the little things of playing the quarterback position is how Jeff Sims has gotten here. Now, this doesn't mean that he can't get better, because this is a great teaching tape for him. Now, unfortunately, it's in a loss. It'd be great for it to be in a win, right? I mean,
yeah,
we love this, but man, they won and had 4 turnovers. What a great victory! That's the way to battle. You got, and he has, and the thing that you can look at, because you got to wash this away, right? Because this is a game that Nebraska beat themselves. You gave this game away. Is you got a couple more days to prepare for Colorado. You get to get a head start on them. But for that offense, they have got to get back to the fundamentals of football. Even as simple of when they are, I'll call it deuce blocking or slip blocking up to the second level. You have got to get moving on your double team before you go to the second level. You destroy the point of attack. You come off late for the second level. You'll get bigger holes and creases in the run game. You saw a better job of it in the second half, but ultimately this comes down to turnover. There's 2 in the first half, 2 in the second half, and really, like you said, to only lose by 3, that's commendable to the defense.
Yeah.
But in reality, it shouldn't ever come to that. So you have to get to the point. The situational football, understanding that, everything has, points are so crucial to this team right now. You can't have these mistakes. And it might not even be points, Nick. It might be just, okay, we're going to drive it down to essentially we either kick a field goal before the time runs out, or we punt it down there where they don't even try to score, and we go into overtime.
Yeah.
Give yourself that extra chance because you never know what can happen. You can get in overtime, they throw a pick, we kick a field goal, we're riding home, high on the high horse, and now we're sitting up here talking about the same loss, and now we're talking to seems like 45 text messages. We got somebody about to call in and see what they have to say. So this is our first caller.
Yeah, we got Lemon on the Honda Lincoln
Lemon,
hotline.
let's see what you got, my brother.
Lemon's kicking off the season for us. What's on your mind today?
Hey, I guess I didn't listen to the very start, but I hope you don't still call this the after party post-game show because we haven't been partying for a long time, and you really need to change the name if you do. But it's just frustrating. Like, the team played good enough to win, obviously. You're not going to win many games when you go -3 in the turnover margin. And the rest of the team, I felt like they definitely played good enough to win, and quarterback cost us, plain simple. I mean, you could say the play calling's bad. Like, we really need 10 yards to be in field goal range, and we have 1 minute and 47 seconds left on the clock. Like, you have enough time for 1 run, probably even 2 runs, regardless of the timeout situation. So I don't even know why you give the opportunity to throw a pass right there. Like, just run the ball and get in field goal range, and at worst, you're going to overtime. But then again, the quarterback shouldn't be throwing into double coverage in that situation, and all night Sims was making poor decisions. Like, I don't know why we keep saying we have dual threat quarterbacks at Nebraska, because dual threat implies there's a threat of them making good passes, and all they can do is run the ball. But hopefully it gets better. The rest of the team looked pretty good, but I mean, it's classic Nebraska, and most fans did not get excited because we knew that thing was far from over and did not feel comfortable for a single second. And earlier on the radio, earlier today, one of the shows, I don't remember who it was, but someone on the ticket was talking about how the first game the last few seasons has set the tone and how it just affects the team's mindset a lot. And I feel like, once again, our mindset is going to switch from having confidence to having doubt. So it could have repercussions the rest of the season, because if we would have won this game, our mindset would have been so much different. And so that's the thing that hurts more than anything. It's not really the one loss. It's how the team's going to think about it, because it feels just like any other year right now. So I'll hang up and hear your thoughts.
Appreciate you, Lemon.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the sentiment right now. It stings because, to be honest with you, I mean, he mentioned the mindset. The mindset was actually commendable going into halftime after literally, Nick, duking down your leg at the half-yard line. Essentially, you could fall forward and have 7 points. You end up throwing an interception. You could be just demoralized. You get the ball back, have a huge return, get going, take over the game, and then find a way to essentially punch yourself in the face one more time against the Gophers and not get over the edge. It should be and is very frustrating for a lot of the fan base, because some of the things and some of the mistakes at this point, at this level, right? And I want everybody to understand, when you say this, or when I say this, this does not mean this is a blanket statement, but this is factual. At this level, some of those plays cannot happen. They just can't. You get what I'm saying? I mean, and this is the honest to God truth, because in the red zone, if it's I will say this: Jeff Sims is not the only quarterback that does this. I'm a former Buffalo Bill. Josh Allen does it too, to the point that where he's dangerous in the red zone. If it's not there, either take the sack or throw it to the cheap seats. Period.
You also have to understand where you're at in the game and what's coming up. This is all being within the game and understanding it, because here's the thing: if Jeff Sims throws that away, Nebraska gets a field goal and it's tied 3-3, they come out, they get the ball.
Right.
You're essentially getting 2 possessions back to back.
Yeah, it's like
that is
2 for 1.
It worked. It was a dream scenario
Right.
for Nebraska, and yet somehow, some way, Jeff Sims misses a wide open Nate Borkacher in the end zone,
right?
Which was could have been option 1. Option 2 would throw it away.
Right.
Those are vice versa.
Yeah,
I don't care which one it is.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But yet you don't even bother to look anywhere else,
right?
Because you predetermined prior to the snap who you wanted to go to and where you were throwing that ball.
Right.
And so and that's the thing, is even if there wasn't the guy, and I'm blanking on who picked it off, the Minnesota guy that kind of that floated back there and ended up intercepting it. Even if he wasn't there, you're still throwing it in a double coverage.
Yeah, you just happen to
throw it to the guy, the third guy.
Yeah,
the guy that got
it was not
last.
open at any point.
No,
and if it's not open right away, quickly, right? Because things in the red zone happen quickly, so you have to not predetermine where you're going to go with the ball. You have to predetermine your read, because you're reading generally one guy, and that will dictate whatever the coverage is, and that's where it dictate where you go. And it was just not a very good play. And then the same thing happened in the crucial time. You can at this. I keep saying this, and you can get better at this, because if you make a conscious effort of working on it every single day, individually and with your coaches, you will get exponentially better at playing the quarterback position. We said it today on the pregame show at Warhorse. We don't need Jeff Sims to be Superman. We just need you to play the quarterback position effectively. 3 interceptions that's not it.
No.
And so he can get a lot better from it, because he did a lot of good things. I think running the ball, he showed it. Timely runs, he was really good. There was times that I felt like on the last couple drives, he threw the ball at times when it was on target to Marcus Washington, throw it where he could only catch it. Marcus Washington came up with some good catches. But I think when it came under pressure, you have to go back to your fundamentals, and that's something that probably he's going to really be harped on in the next couple of days. But we got a couple more callers, Nick.
Yeah, let's keep them rolling here. We got Patrick on the line. Patrick, appreciate you waiting. What's on your mind, man?
Hey, brother. Long time listener. Like 5th, 6th season, I've been listening to you guys.
Appreciate you.
3 that jump out right away. And all of them, 2 of them at least, were in the last 4 minutes of, I think it was the 4th quarter, when Minnesota went down and got the touchdown with God dragging his foot. The 3rd down before the 4th down, there was a gopher, 69, false start. I mean, you can see it. He jumps, the ball is still held by the center. That's false start. Am I wrong or am I right?
You're right.
Okay. 4th down. Or no, I'm sorry.
That was
the
on
4th
4th down.
Was the false start.
Right.
The 3rd down was refs blew a whistle. Nobody called timeout. No explanation. So again, I think it's Penn State got their miracle 5th down years ago. Minnesota got a free timeout.
So
before that, they got a free timeout.
Patrick, I would tell you this, that a lot of times in some situations, they will reward a team a timeout rather than taking a penalty at times. And I believe if I'm thinking correctly to where the situation you're discussing, they awarded PJ Fleck a timeout rather than prior to that 4th down play.
Oh, then that's horrible. That's horrible. I mean, I won't even say that. The missed touchdown, I still think that was probably in the 4th quarter, where his elbow was down, and plain as day, you can see the ball across the freaking goal line. They overturned it, no touchdown. And then the last one, like the gentleman before me said, 3 INTs 2 of them in the red zone, and the fumble by Irvin. Clean it up. I mean, every fan in Nebraska has said it for years. We find a way to punch ourselves in the mouth and blow a game that we were in control of.
Yeah. Appreciate you, Patrick. We got to keep moving. I'm sorry, man, but we appreciate the phone call. I mean, Jay, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one. I mean, he's right. I mean, the thing I will tell you, Patrick, is there's calls missed every play. You could call holding probably every play.
To his credit, there were a lot of missed calls.
But I think the frustration come with fans is when it's so blatant. And also, I will say this to Patrick's credit: there's an umpire and a referee. That's their calls. That's what your job is. You're looking for offsides, or for an offense or defense or offensive offsides, right? You're looking for that. So for you to miss it, and then the result is a touchdown, those are game-changing misses. But let's just say that he wasn't offsides or he didn't at false start. Let's just say that. Blowing that coverage in a zone coverage when actually you can play ultra aggressive and sit on the outside, right? According to what Joel Klatt and all them said, and you had Buddha right inside and you had a safety over top. That has nothing to do with that. That is what you can control. That's what Matt Rule is talking about. You have to take the game and the situation out of the refs. I'm not a ref apologist, right? Mm-hmm. Here's what I will say. As new or they're out of like game shape as well. As far as I'd like to think that Nebraska's not going to have as many penalties in week 2 as they did in week 1. I hope not. I hope Nebraska doesn't have as many turnovers in week 2 as they did in week 1. Well, I'd venture that refs get better with more game action. They missed it, period. Now, whether they want to say it or not, they missed it. I'm going to tell you also another play that was crucial too. They missed, or they called a penalty on Luke Reimer for clapping his hands.
Disconcerting
signals. That's blatantly a wrong call. That's a wrong call. Mm-hmm. Okay. He chose to not pull his flag. He has to get better at that as a ref. There's some other calls. I saw Ty Robinson, even though Ty was a bonehead play and got ejected. I saw him get tackled twice. Right there at the point of attack. The things that I get frustrated at with the refs is when you're looking for these plays, and this is your job. Because I've been to a referee clinic. Jay Gase is on here. Sometimes he's a referee. And plus, as a former player, I generally know what the ump's doing. So number one, I have to work with the ump. You got to get out of the way and you tell me what you're looking for. Well, when you're missing tackles or blatant holding penalties, then that means you're off your game. You're not doing a very good job. But at the end of the day, take that all and pull it to the side. Nebraska had a chance to win. Now, look, we're looking at some of these crucial plays. But we can also go back to when we had fully control of the game.
I was just going to go there, Jay.
And we passed the ball 3 times with 12 minutes in some change. And I think I texted you, said I'm on the way. And then by the end of the series, there was 11 and a half minutes. So in 3 plays, I think they only burned maybe 45 seconds, if that.
So
right?
So I had the drive pulled up because I wanted to talk about it. So great minds think alike, Mr. Foreman. Nebraska started a drive on their own 38-yard line with 12 minutes and 16 seconds in the game. They were up 10-3 at this point.
Right.
Jeff Sims pass incomplete, intended for Tommy Hill. Jeff Sims,
I like that play though. I
don't
stop
mind
you
the
right
shot.
There. I like it was there. It needed to be a little bit better pass. I like it.
Yeah. By the way, Tommy Hill playing both sides of the ball, which is something that Nebraska fans might gravitate towards. 2nd and 10, once again on the 38-yard line. Jeff Sims passes right to Billy Kemp, broken up by Baranowski for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Brings up 3rd and 10. Pass complete to Marcus Washington for half a yard to the Nebraska 38-yard line. Brian Buschini punts. Minnesota takes over with 11 minutes and 31 seconds left on the game clock.
So about 45 seconds.
Yeah.
You can't do that. And also I would like to say that the quarterback run game and the conventional run game was starting to crank up a little bit. Right? Even if I like the shot first down. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that shot. I think let's go for it. The play call was there. Tommy Hill had him beat just off a little bit. Those are not high percentage passes. Those are great passes. Now, granted, there's some teams out here that hit them better, but generally those aren't high percentage passes, right? I like that call. So you got 2 downs.
Yep.
Okay. We all in agreement, so I can deal with that call. Okay. And then also, you know what? Maybe I like our 3rd down call. If you want to pass it again, I'm gonna play
devil's
along
advocate,
with it, right?
Yeah.
I like that on 2nd down. Controlled, get a completion. It's like a short run. Ideally, we'd like more than a half a yard. Say you get 3 or 4 yards, and you know what? Say we're backed up. Our defense is going to give them a little bit more rest. So that means almost another minute goes off the clock at least, right? Another minute goes off. That's like 10 minutes for a defense trying to recover. And just say we run it again. Say we come up with the quarterback counter, or we run any type of run play, or even if you want to go another pass, right? I'll just say, look, well then maybe you bring in Bonner and Harburg, or H2, and try to do something like that, get somebody in the flat or work the middle of the field, right? That was a crucial series. Now look, we can all look back because we didn't win the game, and that's fine. But I'm a big cause and effect, right? Now, did that win or lose the game? No, but it was something that where you could have got some more yards, got a first down. And I'm sure Satterfield was like, look, every play caller, Tony White included, Matt Rule included, there's plays that they like to have back. That's human nature, and that's the way the business goes. But with all that being said, that was huge, because you kind of you should have tried to adapt the mentality of, I am going to squeeze you now, right? It's almost like a boa constrictor. I finally got you wrapped in. Now I'm going to try to squeeze the life out of you by trying to play some small ball and not giving you any hope. You got to think, though, and I think I would implore our listeners and our texters and our people calling in, you have to really understand the mindset that goes into playing football. It's not just run into a guy as hard as you can, throw it deep, dance around, and do all that. You have to understand from a defensive mentality how much confidence that just gave me. We are losing the game. We listen. Somehow, some way, they ran a trick play. It looked like it was in the backyard. It looked like almost like a double trick play. They just scored on us, and our offense can't do tiddly poo. Nothing. Defensively, they're starting to wear us down, right? Well, then you give me a nice little gift wrap present of throwing the ball 3 times. I'm running off there thinking like you're too scared to run it against us, and we got this game under control because they're not really trying to win.
Yeah, 3 and out.
Yeah,
3 and out. Let's go back to the phone lines. Then we're going to take a break, get Matt Rule some of his clips from his post-game press conference here in just a few minutes. Let's go to Brian, who's been waiting patiently. Our phone lines are full, so if you're trying to call, just be patient. They'll open up. Our phone lines are currently full, though, and so we're going to try to get through these as quick as we can. Brian, you're on the Jay Foreman post-game show. What's on your mind, man?
Hey, boys. So, a couple of things Jay actually said I was going to bring up, too. Number one is the 3 straight passes. Man, that was a freaking killer. I mean, we had momentum going. We were driving. I mean, we had control of the game. I 100% agree with what you said there. I mean, I texted and actually said the word gift wrap that you mentioned. I definitely said gift wrap. I'm like, guys, we had this under control. The other thing, kind of backtracking a little bit too, is right before halftime, is, with the false start, that freaking killed us too. A little bit of a mismanagement there was huge to get no points. And then my last question, because I know we're up against time here, is why do you think we had Anthony Grant in the game towards the end in crunch time, in which Rules did say publicly that he fumbles the ball a lot, which happened. So
appreciate you, Brian.
I mean, I think look, man, like I keep saying, that was a great play by the Gopher defender. I will tell you, I can guarantee you it was in their scouting report. And I will tell you this, to even play revisionist history, right? Anthony Grant, all the way up until right now, did not have a fumbling problem. He's obviously having like a Melvin Gordon-esque type of bad run, right? Bad luck, really. It was a great play by that Gopher defender. It was a smart play. It was a good situational football play. It was a momentum-changing play. It was a desperate play. You get what I'm saying? It wasn't like he met Anthony Grant in the hole. hit Anthony Grant so hard that Anthony Grant had the ball flaring around and he picked it up and scored. Or you had to run. It was a great play. Now Anthony Grant needed to protect the ball. And a great play by him. Why was he in the game? I think because he provided a spark. And that's on something only the running back coach can answer. I'm sure after that return by Ramir, people ask like, why wasn't he in the game that much more? I just think that it was a great play by the Gopher defender. I'm not taking anything away from him, and I'm not making any excuse for Anthony Grant. I just think it was just part of where he's at right now, and he's in a tough situation. He's got to keep working at it, because I do think that there's going to be a time in this season, or times in this season, Anthony Grant has to be called upon to win you a game, and he has to get better at it. Whether it's dumb luck, coincidence, or great play, it can't happen to this magnitude. And you got to get back to it. You got to start at literally ground level and look at it, dissect it, and then continue to work at it every single day. You almost got to like beat yourself up and see it so much that it's like being in a slump. Well, some people think, don't let him bat anymore. Sometimes you got to swing right through it. You do, and that's the way he's. I mean, now granted, we ain't gonna have fumble a game. You're gonna be sitting on the bench, but I think he's a kid. He's a good kid. He wants to do good, and sometimes I think maybe he's pressing too much, and so it's unfortunate. And Gabe did a couple good things, but we weren't very effective in conventional run game. Period. Anybody?
Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. We don't have to take a break this moment because we do have a clip of Matt Rule discussing Anthony Grant's fumble. So we'll play that right after this here. 10 seconds for station identification.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
All right, here is Matt Rule on Anthony Grant's fumble.
Yeah, he had the in the scrimmage, he fumbled the football. He fumbled it a couple of times. And so, we know that Anthony can make a ton of plays. He has to protect the football. And especially in those moments, right? We're in 5 points. It's in 2 minute, 4 minute. Everyone on the team knows how we want to run the football. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out. And, Anthony tried to fight for more yards. Credit to their guys. So saw the replay up there, came in and punched the ball out. That's championship football. And that's, they made the play at the end that we needed to make. We couldn't make a play at the end, and they did. So, in terms of Anthony, I'm never going to throw a guy under the bus. He feels terrible in there, but there were a lot of plays we could have fixed better.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, look, Matt Rule's brutally honest. Said that he fumbled a couple of times in scrimmages or in practice, and everybody wondered why he was at number 3 on the depth chart. He also said that EJ Bartho said that Anthony Grant runs that play well. He was fighting for extra yards, and you know what? For you people out there, as a defender, that's when actually most fumbles happen. When you're fighting for those extra yards. And sometimes you just got to, like as much as we talk about Jeff Sims in the red zone, take what you can get down, don't do it, don't overexpose the ball. Everybody has 20/20 vision right now, right? The young man is feeling terrible right now because he feels he's a good enough back to close out the game. There's a reason, not just because he runs that play. Anthony Grant normally is a closer, and we need him to play better. The whole team does. The running back room does. And so you gotta, obviously he's got to recognize it and stuff like that, but you got to keep working at it. The one thing that's interesting though, is like you said, Nick, Gabe Ervin was said to be head and shoulders, that guy. Well, Gabe Ervin should be over there telling the coach, you got to put me in. I don't care what plays run. I am that guy. I got to be able to closer. So, look, it's a hard thing about sports when you're playing at this type of level and with this type of pressure in this type of game. It was one of the 4 turnovers. Ideally, you still had a chance to win. You still were driving to kick the same field goal that the Gophers did, right? But there was another turnover after that. And so the little things that you have to recognize and work on individually. And really, I don't know who I was talking to about it. We were talking about, I don't know, a player last year, not, like watching a tape, so forth and so on. A lot of this stuff is you got to hold yourself accountable because, it's like a shooter in basketball, right? Say you have one of those games and one hits off the top of the backboard and you bank in another 3, then you hit one. Well, in reality, your form and shot is probably off. but it's going in, right? If you don't take the time and are diligent about your craft, you can sometimes gloss over some things that sometimes come back to bite you in the butt. And that's an individual choice. Yes, the coach can tell you, but you have to accept it, process it, and then apply it. That's what's huge right here. And it's not just Anthony Grant. It's the coverage techniques. It's knowing the personnel. When you're in zone coverage as a linebacker and they have a 6'6", 6'7", 260-pound tight end that's supposed to be a first, second, in the worst case scenario as it sits today, a third-round draft choice, which highly means you'll probably go higher than that, right? And you're in zone coverage, and that's the only guy, that's the number two. You better widen your drop and get there. You better recognize play personnel. Those are the things that are those are also the plays that are huge as well. And that's the difference of where, sometimes like maybe where Minnesota is, right? Where they're able to kind of breathe calmly under pressure and make those type of plays because they've been there and they've executed at a level earlier in the game. It allows them to play free down the stretch. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, look, man, it sucks because this is a game that, I think, Matt Rule would love to, win and everybody, be happy and, but it just sucks. It's just not it's just, obviously just part of it.
I think it's frustrating if you're a Husker fan because you look at Nebraska's rushing numbers, and you take Jeff Sims and the quarterback running game out of it. You look and you see Gabe Irvin with 7 carries and Anthony Grant with 9.
Yeah.
Your traditional running backs got a total of 16 carries in a Big Ten football game. When for the fact of the matter, you led for basically 90% of the second half.
Right.
And your traditional running backs got a total of 16 carries all game.
Yeah. You got to get that conventional run game going. Yeah, actually.
With whoever it is.
Yeah.
And
highlight the quarterback.
We don't care. Because why? Because that opens up stuff for if you want to take a shot.
Yeah.
And Marcus Satterfield wants to throw it with 12 minutes left in the fourth quarter. If Jeff Sims wants to run it, continue to run it. It also takes some of the pressure off of Jeff Sims, who was sometimes looked uncomfortable in today's game. And at times, right? And so it takes pressure off of him to maybe not feel like he has to be Superman.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, man. It's tough, man. And, we got a text here from unknown text. Was it 6537-308 area code? I won't do the first 3. Yeah, man, go ahead and vent. You can call in and vent all you want. Look, I feel your frustration. Look, I watched it, and you should vent, and it's got to be frustrating. And, if you want to vent, don't vent on the text message. Pick up the phone and call. Let's see. I want to hear from you and see what you think. One thing about venting is it's emotion. But, have a plan or what you want to vent about. Just venting isn't just say, well, fire all the coaches. Everybody should transfer. We suck. We'll wait for 2024 because then you'll be right back at the same place in 2024. And, obviously we don't want many more nights like this.
Let's take one more phone call because Brady has been waiting patiently on the text, or excuse me, on the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Then we will take our first break just to get some commercials in there. But phone lines are jacked, so let's get to Brady. Brady, thanks for being patient, man. What's on your mind?
Yeah, no problem, guys. What a great game tonight. Obviously things didn't go our way. I just had a couple takeaways. As far as things go, with Rule's coaching job tonight, I noted before the half that a lot of people had a problem with him not taking a timeout down on the goal line. Just so they could reset, have enough time, do a quarterback sneak, something like that. Obviously, ends up with him throwing a pick. But I think overall that he's the first coach that I've seen here that's really tried to, at the get-go, adapt to Big Ten play, try to beat Minnesota at their own game, play clock control. So I thought that facet of the game tonight was great. Obviously, the defense was exceptional. Yeah, you can't blame the defense for this loss when you go 3 down on the turnover margin. But just seems like the glaring issue to me anyway is just the talent gap that's going to really show when we go against some of the best offenses in the Big Ten when we have to like sometime down the line when we have seen offense that has guys like Marvin Harrison Jr. and all these Big Ten offenses that have that star power. We don't have a throw it down the field YOLO guy anymore like Trey Palmer, at least in my personal opinion. So I think that could be a glaring issue going forward for the rest of the year. But really promising from the defensive unit tonight. And obviously special teams stood up very well tonight. Bushini's just as consistent as he was last year. So should be a really fun season ahead, and just want to know your guys' thoughts. Thanks.
Thanks, Brady. Appreciate you.
Yeah, it's tough. I wanted to ask you, Nick, and we got some people texting in.
Yeah.
Borkacher had the one-handed catch. He was open on the interception in the red zone. We've talked about that. Whatever. And so, but I want to ask you this: do you think that it should be, I guess, implored on Jeff Sims to work the tight ends more, kind of like Minnesota did, to kind of get the confidence back going?
Well, Nebraska doesn't have a Brevin Spanford,
Right.
And Brevin Spanford, who was relatively quiet for 75% of the games. He was really active on that first drive for Minnesota, then kind of was quiet up until the fourth quarter. Right. And I think one thing that we've seen in past playing in plenty of Big Ten games, and we talked about it on the pregame show, Jay, was that they work in sync. We talked about complementary football,
right? Getting
Jeff Sims into a rhythm,
right?
And he can't do that. He can't get into a rhythm on his own.
No. I mean, and you never know, because we don't see the all 22 tape. We're not in these meetings.
You're right.
I'd like to think there was probably some options that were open.
Yeah.
I will say this, and I know we have some texters in there questioning some of the offensive line. I know on the first touchdown, it seemed like he was back there for 6 seconds without having to move. Even on the red zone, or the first red zone, the red zone interception had some time. So I'm willing to bet some other guys were, there. And you know what? The receivers need to do a better job of creating separation. Maybe we need to find different ways to get Billy Kemp the ball in some short areas, even if it's what I'm going to say now, it's called a now route. Essentially, you get the ball and just literally throw it to him.
Yeah.
We see it every Friday night out there at Seacrest or wherever, UBT. Get him the ball, kind of get his confidence going, because he is too good of a player to have 0 receptions in a 60-minute game.
Yep. Let's head to break, Jay. Send it.
We're going to go to break. We'll be right back in about 4 or 5 minutes. Then we're going to take some more calls, read some more texts. Keep calling, texting in. Jay Foreman, after game show. We'll be right back.
Hey, it's Sean Callahan, and football season is here, and there is one place that has all the games, plus great food and beer specials. Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Whether it's Thursday night football, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, or Monday night football, there's a great view of the game from any seat with different food and drink specials every night. Try the Blue Ribbon Reuben sandwich or the prime rib French dip or any of their famous chicken wings. That's Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill.
Hey, moms and dads, bring the whole crew to a Salt Dogs baseball game and unleash the fun. Visit Haymarket Park all summer for fireworks Fridays, souvenir Saturdays, Sunday family fun days, and more. With 50 home games, even weekdays can be unforgettable. Planning an event? Make it a home run with group discounts. When you need an outing the whole family will enjoy, unleash the fun with the Salt Dogs. Call 402-474-2255 or visit saltdogs.com for tickets.
This is Brian at Midwest Bank, and we've been proudly serving clients in the Lincoln community since 2008, and we're excited to open a second location in January 2024 at 70th and Pioneers Boulevard. Our new branch will provide all the convenient services you're looking for in a bank, along with the friendly staff we're known for. Whether you're starting a business or expanding your business, our team is here for you, your community, your bank, Midwest Bank. Find out more at midwestbank.com, member FDIC.
Join us at this year's Ignite Lincoln 15 at Rococo Theater on Thursday, September 14th for an inspiring night of stories that spark change. Get your tickets at ignitelincoln.org. Don't miss this chance to be a part of something extraordinary.
Summer is near. Now's the time to clean or replace your furnace filter to get the most out of your AC. Find energy-saving tips at les.com/save-energy.
You've driven by GE Landscape Supply countless times, likely without even knowing. At 6701 Cornhusker Highway. Now it's time to stop in. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction materials. They sell in bulk to save you money, and you can buy anything from a 5-gallon bucket to a semi-load. And don't forget, they deliver anywhere. Stop by 6701 Cornhusker Highway from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Friday, and 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturdays. Go to GELandscapeSupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627.
You deserve the best. With a Liberty First MasterCard, you can pay down your high-rate debt and could save hundreds when you transfer the balance. The Liberty First Credit Union MasterCard has no balance transfer fees, no cash advance fees, and no annual fee. And with a fixed rate as low as 9.99% APR and you choose rewards, you'll be able to manage your card your way. Visit libertyfirstcu.com. Rates and terms are based on your credit and subject to change. Federally insured by NCUA. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose.
My dream was to work in commercial banking, but it required a college degree and I didn't have one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric brings exciting career opportunities for you or someone you know. They are now hiring plumbers, electricians, and HVAC techs and installers to continually build their professional team. They offer competitive pay and full benefits packages that include health, dental, vision, PTO, and 401k options. Action has created a positive team environment for over 50 years. Apply online at actionlincoln.com.
Allo is here to give you the FYI. Are your shows buffering? We know why. Are your games lagging? Don't deny. Your work calls dropping? Here's the FYI. Your old school internet company can't keep up. They give it a try. Their network isn't enough. Don't get trapped in their gimmicks and lies. It's time to fiber your internet with Allo. Honest, local, and hassle-free is what we stand by. Experience Allo Internet. Visit allofiber.com/FYI.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, and they've scouted out the best Kawasaki side-by-side deals for you. Score up to $2,500 off the 2023 Kawasaki Teryx and up to $1,000 off Mule Pro FX and FXCs. Whether you want to handle the toughest task in a trusted, tried and true mule or looking to dominate adventure in a Teryx, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered with a large selection of Kawasaki side-by-sides in stock at their new 27th and I-80 location. Hurry in, the clock is running down. Offer valid through 9/30/2023. Subject to change without notice. Offer available on approved purchases of select new unregistered Kawasaki vehicles. Model and year exclusions apply. Cannot be combined with promotional retail financing rates.
Jay Foreman postgame show. Sponsored by Tanner's Bar and Grill, Vinny Creek, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical. On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back. Jay Foreman after game show. We appreciate you guys. We've got about another 45 minutes. I feel your pain, man. I feel you, Brad, on YouTube. Problem with recruiting. Good ones that they don't come with you. You can't win like Rayola. Wait till next year. No O-line. We need to stop taking transfer players. Line fall started on the Gophers touchdown. Yes, Bo would have went nuts. But also you have to be able to play through it, right? And even here's what I'll say to Brad. Yes, Brad, you are one to all the fans, right? Somebody on the text line did a really good job, and they sent it in, and it looked like it was in slow motion because you know, like when you play it and you wait for it to play. There's no question. I think it's number 69 jumped way offsides. He was getting, and then he still almost got beat, right? So he was so offsides, he still almost got beat. They missed the call. They blew the call, but we blew the coverage. Yeah, we blew the perfect coverage for. We got. I mean, in the Gopher receiver made a highlight catch because to keep his right leg in the air while
body control was unbelievable.
Great pass, but the pass and the catch, I'd like to bet 8 out of 10 times doesn't get completed, and I'm willing to bet he doesn't throw it. if we don't blow that coverage.
Well, and don't forget, it was 1 or 2 plays before that touchdown. Nebraska was heavily in man coverage tonight.
Yeah.
They were heavily in man coverage, and Minnesota, to their credit, PJ Fleck and the co-offensive coordinator system that they have. I think Harbaugh was the one that was calling the plays up because he was up in the booth, but nonetheless noted that man coverage and called a crossing route.
Yeah.
And frankly, they had the guy open. If
Yeah.
it was a better throw by Kaliak Manis, they would have scored the touchdown 15 or 20 seconds earlier.
Right. But I will tell you this, Quentin Newsom, this is what you got to give him credit. You're in a run and chase position. Essentially, It's like a over route or Colt route for you fans that Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison literally took the league by storm. And every team, all the way from high school, all the way up to college and the pros, still run it. He ran, and he was in the chase position and made them make a perfect throw. Right? And what was the result? Just barely out of bounds. Okay, you can live with that.
Yeah.
Would we like to be in zone? Sure. Well, guess what? Tony White said, you know what? I'm learning from that. I'm calling zone.
Yeah.
On 4th and 10.
Yeah, it was unfortunate, and then we haven't even addressed the play at the end that set up the field goal where it was 4th and 15. You got a sack, and then you got bailed out by a false start. 3rd and 15. You got a sack for a loss of 3 yards, and then you had a false start penalty on Minnesota, which set up 3rd and long. Your dream scenario. Minnesota was 5 yards out of field goal range at that point.
Right.
And you allow on a simple halfback dive to go for 12 or 13 yards.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. You get caught guessing. You got to just play.
Yeah.
You got to play and read your keys. You got to understand they're trying to you got to understand what they need to get where they need to get for a field goal. And if you play too passive, like they're not going to run it on you. And Minnesota probably was looking at the linebacker depth. Are they coming up and filling? Or are they a little light in the box? They feel like they can get up to the second level. And these are just the situational. You can't even call it situational football. It's the ebbs and flows of the game. The one thing I would tell people, and then we're going to get back to the call. We have some callers.
Oh, yeah. Phone lines are full.
The one big difference from college football to pros is the momentum changes are more. It happens more often. And so you have to one of the unique abilities of you look at it, Kirby Smart, Matt Rule has done a good job in this in the past, and other coaches, is the ability to extend that momentum on your side because they know if something might happen, it goes to the other side and find a way to get back. Nebraska didn't keep the momentum, lost it at the end. But let's go to the callers.
Yeah, let's
see what they got to say.
Let's go to Bruce. Bruce has been waiting patiently. Bruce, what's on your mind, man?
Hey, what's going on? I'm frustrated, but I'll tell you that I was impressed up with a couple of defensive mistakes. I was really actually kind of proud of the defense. They only gave up 13. Obviously, we lost. That's that. But Jay said it earlier. Like I've watched professional do it, and I've watched college do it. Man, when you try to go for the extra yards, probably 9 times out of 10, that ball's coming out. And it just frustrates me that with the minute that they had left, that they just didn't run it. Sims, again, I don't like the guy, but again, he's our quarterback. I'm going to root for him. But these double coverage throws are just, it's just idiotic. And it just reminds me of last year. It's just the same thing. It's just like game after game. We're in the game, but we're the ones that destroy ourselves. We lost because of us. And it just frustrates me more and more each year that I watch this team. Like Nebraska, to me, just seems like it's just fallen into a hole and they don't even know what to do. And I hope things change. But it looks like to me that it's going to be one side this year. It looks like the defense is going to be doing good and the offense is just going to be just horrible. So thanks, guys. Good to talk to you again, Nick. Jay, take care, man.
All right, man. We appreciate
you, Bruce. Let's just knock some more phone calls out. Jay, you good with that?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go right to Mitch on the Honda of Lincoln hotline. Push that button. All right, Mitch, you're on, man. What's on your mind?
How's it going, fellas?
Well, not too bad.
Yeah, I guess it could be better, but I get what you're saying. First off, I guess right off the bat, I respect how the team played. They played hard. They fought till the fourth quarter, just like Rule said. However, on the offensive side of the ball, like Rule has been saying, spring, summer, and fall, we will run the ball to finish and win the fourth quarter. Run the damn ball. I don't understand how it's been 8 years of constant slants, shovel passes, and we need to run the ball. Get it figured out.
Appreciate it, Mitch.
Is that Mitch?
Mitch.
Yeah.
I somewhat agree to his. We've heard all offseason regarding Rule saying, hey, we're going to run this ball to finish the game. And that's what bothered me the most about that drive with 12 minutes left in the game, I think, because that's what you've been preaching for
Right.
time like that. When you have a one possession lead, you want to play your best football in the fourth quarter, a way to at least give yourself somewhat of a sustainable drive when, mind you, your defense has been playing light years ahead of your offense this game.
Right.
And has frankly kept you in that game in the first half, gave you a lot of opportunities that the offense screwed up. Yet you thank them by going 3 and out.
Right. But let's look, I mean, keep it all the way real, right?
Yep.
And here's the two main points to take it from, was it Mitch that just called?
Mitch, yep.
Mitch, the reason why we're 8 years down the road like this is because probably of those first 4 years, it was a conscious effort not to be physical. It was a conscious effort not to hold guys accountable. So that just didn't happen for those 4 years. You multiply that by like time and a half. So then you got 6 years, and now you're playing catch up in 6 months with a new coach, coaching staff. You're just not going to be extraordinary, more physical and better in just 6 months, one spring, go through summer workouts in 2 weeks of 2-a-days. It's a step-by-step process. Number two, which is probably even more important, right? I want everybody to listen. On third down, the crucial play, it was third or second play. They threw it in the end zone. We dropped an interception.
Yeah.
Game.
2 hands on it.
Game.
Nebraska got 2 hands on it.
Right. Game.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. I'm upset because I think Hartzog is such a good player that he doesn't need to bust that coverage, right? Because I think it's a perfect call. But preceding that, right? Let's look, I'm going to be big on this. I do it on old school, do it inside the huddle. I'm going to do it all the time on, when it's warranted on the after game show, Jay Foreman after game show, the cause and effect, what leads up to it, right? Yes, we're talking about the 4th and 10 play. What about the second and whatever play we drop it right there in the end zone?
Yep.
Game, right? And so if we game time it, right, there is no 4th and 10. We aren't having these calls. We got 200 people on YouTube and all this other stuff. We're going to have 300 in a happy mood, right? So keep calling. Yes, Brad, I hear you. I don't know about that because I think Jamal Lord was a bad boy, though. So let's go back to the phone line.
Let's go to John. John, what's on your mind, man?
Hey, guys, what's up?
What's happening, John?
So I thought the defense played well. I was a little leery of this 3-3-5, but they played well enough to win the game. Again, we did not – I don't know if it was a case of Minnesota beat us or we beat ourselves. You cannot have turnovers. You are in field goal range early in the game. You're down 3-0. I don't care if it's second down, third down, first down. You kick the field goal to tie the game. We left points up. We left points on the board that we should have had. And when the going gets tough, you don't give your defense enough of a break. They were tired. They were, I think, at the end of the game, they just could not make that stop when they needed to. They had chances with the INT that they dropped. It looks better, but the result is still the same. So until the result changes, this is what we got. So I got it.
Appreciate it, John. Jay, going back to that cause and effect that you discussed,
right.
Well, another one is on that drive right before halftime where Jeff Sims throws the interception. Nebraska committed a false start penalty. After they got to the 1 yard line.
Yeah, half yard line. Yeah.
Got to the half yard line. Jeff Sims was going to sneak it, was probably going to get in.
Yeah, they've done a good job of that. Yeah.
And they ended up false start, cost you 5 yards. They have to take their third time out of the half or to save the 10-second runoff.
Right.
They ended up adding 3 seconds to make it 11 seconds on the clock, and that's when that play happens.
Right.
Don't commit the false start.
Yeah. I mean,
does that correct me if I'm wrong here? Does that fall on Jeff Sims to make sure guys are set and on the same page in that huddle up situation where you're rushing the line? Obviously, you're in a somewhat of a hostile environment. Whose responsibility is that to make sure everybody's on the same?
Well, I think
page?
he was set. He just false started.
Okay.
So I think that's more on the offensive lineman.
Gotcha.
Listen, you're a yard away. You're not getting off the ball that quick to do anything special anyways. You're pretty much just hopefully just not getting beat. The onus is on the quarterback to read wherever the defensive 1 or 2 technique goes anyways. Tom Brady made a living on it. The guy goes left, you go right. The guy goes right, you go left.
You're not getting a push.
You're getting somewhat, but it's not like that.
Gotcha.
It's a half a yard.
Yeah.
I don't even know
with a guy that's got good size as a quarterback.
Yeah, 6'4", and now they allow the running backs just to kind of push you in. So it's a crucial mistake, and those are the things you got to get. I want to tell you this before we take another caller. Nebraska doesn't have to play perfect, but they cannot play careless with the ball ever in the next 11 games and expect to win. So they got to get better at that.
Let's go to another John on the Honda of Lincoln hotline. John, appreciate you waiting, man. What's on your mind tonight?
Hey, Jay and Nick. Brutal, bro. Brutal.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I agree with everything you guys have said. Our margin of error, we're not a good enough team. We don't have much of a margin for error. We have no margin for error. So when we jump off sides in the red zone twice and we make poor decisions in crucial situations, I just don't know how this can happen game after game after game after game after game. It's unbelievable.
Appreciate you, John.
Yeah, John, you're right. We don't have our margin for error is a lot smaller than say Ohio State. Our margin for error, as we saw tonight, is probably a little bit smaller than Minnesota. Yes, Sean Wills. Yeah, your boy is tired. I've been up since like 5. So, but anyways, look, man, these next 3 days for Nebraska, Nick, is crucial. There is no day off. I know you're tired. Get your rest or whatever. You got to get right back at it. You actually got to you got to practice these things out of it. And I think once they start to really become accustomed to this way of playing, it'll be kind of like in your DNA. And people need to understand this. What Matt Rule is doing is so extraordinary opposite than what, let's say, like Frost and those guys are doing. It's not all the way in their DNA. That doesn't mean that they're not all in. That doesn't mean that they're not bought in. It's just that they don't know how to operate calmly, like the Minnesota defender multiple times. But when you punch the ball out against Anthony Grant under pressure, because it's not fully in their DNA to when it's second nature.
Let's take one more phone call before we take our final timeout here. We got Drumstick on the line. Drumstick, happy late Thursday night, man. What's on your mind?
Hey guys. Yeah, there's 2 people to blame for this loss. You know who those 2 people are?
No,
Coach Rule. It's Coach Rule and Jenny Taft. Because when Jenny Taft went and bothered Matt Rule on the sideline, I swear, I was like, Jenny Taft's interviewing Matt Rule on the sideline, and the whole time Matt Rule's like looking over his shoulder, like looking at the team. And I'm like, go away, Jenny, go away. And then Matt Rule's he's looking over at the team again. And I'm like, he's so pissed right now. Like, he just wants to, like, coach his team. And then what happens? We get a false start. And I'm like, I swear that, and it was just from him having to talk to Jenny Taft. And the second one, and it's going into the second half. We get all the way down to like the end of the end zone, and we have him on the 1 yard line, and there's like 12 seconds left, and all we had to do is call a timeout. You can't take timeouts home with you. So it's like, if Matt Rule was smart, he would have called the timeout. We would have gathered ourselves, and then we would have taken that quarterback sneak in for the end zone for the touchdown. And I feel like we would have had like positive momentum going into the second half. So, but I thought the defense played fantastic, and I honestly thought Jeff Sims played well. And like, I don't know, I was actually pretty impressed with how the team looked. So this one just kind of sucks. So, but yeah, that's all I got to say.
Appreciate you, Drumstick. I don't know, man. I think there's a lot of growth that needs to be had at that quarterback position.
Yeah,
and we're saying that unfortunately for a guy that might only be here 1 year, 2 at the most.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. You guys will be worried about the next game. Yeah. I mean, that's the conversation we're having, right? Sit down. We'll turn on the tape. Listen, thinking about what you're going to be possibly doing in December and January in 2024 needs to get out of your mind right now.
Yeah.
Our main focus needs to be these fundamentals that we are going to work on so much that you're going to be upset with me, but we cannot have first of all, I'd tell them also, and this isn't always like the blame, and poor Jenny Taft, she's probably going to get blown up by Husker Nation,
Yeah.
right? But I'd say like this, man. Look, I would almost try to preach some confidence and like, look, man, we felt that you're a good player. That's why you're here. I feel that you're too good of a player to go out there and make these mistakes. These aren't physical mistakes; these are mental mistakes. But part of the reason why you're making mental mistakes because physically your fundamentals aren't up to par. And part of fundamental playing quarterback is taking what the defense gives you, or right, hitting the easy open receiver without predetermining your passes. So let's get another. We're going to break.
Let's head to break. We got
break.
a couple Matt Rule things coming up next as well that we haven't heard from. He was asked about the play call before half. He was asked about Jeff Sims.
We're going. We're going to give you guys a break. We're going to come back because boy, this is for Matt Rule. This is probably not what he wanted to be answered after that first one. But let's see what he has to say, and we'll give our thoughts afterwards. Jay Foreman after game show. We'll be right back.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started. Too many people believe that chronic pain, allergies, or illness are permanent and something you're stuck with. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness has been proving that narrative wrong for 29 years and changing lives for the better in the process. Their team is trained in the newest, most advanced pain-relieving techniques and ways to deal with toxins, allergies, pollution, and emotion that make you ill. Call today for a free consultation at 531-254-5695 or go to novotnynutritionandwellness.com. Novotny Nutrition and Wellness, located at 7th and Superior.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest, quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family. And as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. This week, they have your tailgate and holiday barbecue needs. Enjoy all natural whole pork butt for just $1.69 per pound. USDA Choice whole brisket for $3.99 per pound. And 30 packs of Busch Light for only $15.88 when you buy $4.01 in fresh meat. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center just south of 84th and Van Dorn in Lincoln.
This is Bud Seinhorst, President and CEO of LIBA, the Lincoln Independent Business Association. Join us every Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket for the LIBA Business Hour, as we discuss local business and highlight those who are thriving in the Lincoln area. It's the LIBA Business Hour, Saturdays from 9 to 10 a.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Babe, pack your bags. We're going to Vegas.
Vegas?
We just got the estimate from the wedding caterer, and we're going to have to elope.
Actually, Members Owned Credit Union is offering no-fee home equity lines of credit. We can borrow what we need with equity from the house.
Wait, so we can keep the bacon-wrapped dates for the cocktail hour?
We can keep the bacon-wrapped dates. From wedding bells to trekking the globe and everything in between, capture your dreams your way with a no-fee Members Owned Credit Union home equity line of credit. Learn more at membersownedheloc.org. Limitations may apply. Equal housing lender.
Acres, your John Deere dealer, is offering hot financing on all new compact tractors. For a limited time, get 0% interest for 84 months when you buy any new John Deere compact tractor. And with a variety of attachments, you'll make quick work of chores around your acreage. From mowing to grading and moving large loads, Acres has a John Deere tractor to handle your toughest projects. Don't delay. Visit your local Acres store to take advantage of this great offer. Acres, solutions for every field. Offer expires September 30th, 2023, subject to approved credit with John Deere Financial.
Explain to me again why we're sleeping on the ground.
Because we're thramping, thrift camping. It's saving us money and getting us closer to nature.
But we don't need to thramp. I just combined our home and auto insurance with our State Farm agent, so we have a rate that fits our budget.
All right. Do you think our agent can bring us an air mattress?
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Kreekak, at 402-474-1173.
Individual premiums and budgets will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Summer is winding down, but there's no reason to put your golf clubs away. Double Eagle Golf makes golf leagues and events possible year-round. Sign up today for 9-hole leagues this fall, any day from Monday to Friday, starting on September 25th. Check out their deals on monthly memberships and schedule your Husker watch parties, birthday or bachelor parties, corporate and team outings, or just a good old Saturday with the boys. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street. Call today at 402-742-0140. It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, and they've scouted out the best Kawasaki side-by-side deals for you. Score up to $2,500 off the 2023 Kawasaki Terex and up to $1,000 off Mule Pro FX and FXCs. Whether you want to handle the toughest task in a trusted, tried-and-true mule or looking to dominate adventure in a Terex, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered with a large selection of Kawasaki side-by-sides in stock at their new 27th and I-80 location. Hurry in, the clock is running down. Offer valid through 9/30/2023. Subject to change without notice. Offer available on approved purchases of select new unregistered Kawasaki vehicles. Model and year exclusions apply. Cannot be combined with promotional retail financing rates.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show, powered by Sunbelt Rentals. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group of BHHS Ambassador, Select Plumbing, Jimmy John's, Lincoln Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits, Fleet Beef, Yours Cheese Spread on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. It's time for the Jay Foreman postgame show.
Here's Troy Detmer dropping straight back in the pocket. Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score.
Look to the left, and he kind of telegraphed it all the way. When the ball was tipped, Foreman's in the right spot.
Sponsored by Tanner's Bar and Grill, Vinny Kreekak, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, and Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical.
Here's Valenti dropping back, fires a pass, and it's intercepted by the Huskers at the 25, Jay Foreman. And Foreman takes it down to the 19-yard line of Oklahoma. Another big play by the Black Shirts.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We are back. We only got a short time before we sign off here in the first Jay Foreman After Game Show. Appreciate all you guys on YouTube calling in, texting in. Trust me, I feel your pain. I'm with you, man. But we're going to go to the phone lines and get one more call from Buffalo Bill, right? Is it Buffalo Bill?
Buffalo Bill's
all right,
on the
Buffalo
line.
Bill, we appreciate you waiting, man. What you got for us?
Nah, Jay, I just feel bad for you, man. You lived it. You've been there. Man, you're old head. You're tough as hell. Man, it's got to hurt for you, but how do you not call a timeout on the goal line? Get your sit figured out. QB sneak right in the end zone, right? Like, that's got to piss you off as a human. But anyway, Husker Nation can't give up. Like, this is just the beginning. We got to go. Like, don't give up. For all the listeners out there, like, just go. Come on. That's all I got to say.
Thanks, Buffalo Bill. Jay, so a couple people have texted in regarding the timeout before half. How much of that do you think was in Matt Rule's mind of, all right, we have a freshman kicker. If we got to go send him out there.
I don't think at all.
Not at all.
I think they have a 100% confidence. I think he had 100% confidence that a veteran player that is essentially one of your potential captains, he was at the Big Ten media days, would not false start. You just don't coach that way. You gotta, and I understand. Look, the hindsight, you should have called timeout. And yes, you know what? Maybe this team isn't as experienced in winning situations, so maybe you have to call a timeout and kind of hold their hand, right? Maybe so. But everybody's in the moment, right? They're essentially running the ball all the way down the field. They just you know what I mean? They just gashed him to get there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and then the next thing you know, false start, interception. It was questionable. I find it highly questionable that that's not a touchdown by I think it's Anthony Grant.
Gabe Irvin.
Yeah. But again, you don't false start, you probably get 7 points.
Yeah.
You don't throw it into triple coverage, you don't have an interception before halftime.
Let's listen to some of Matt Rule's post-game press conference bites. This is talking about the play right before halftime here.
I don't think so. With 11 seconds, I wouldn't kick it was 8 seconds. They moved it back to 11 seconds. Obviously unfortunate that we had the penalty, right? The ball's on the 1 foot line. With 2 timeouts. I mean, you can't ask for it any better than that, right? One of the tales for today was the penalties, and a credit to them. Great student section. It was loud. We had a couple false starts down there. All things in game 1 you want to try to avoid that we didn't avoid. And so that, eventually that we all have to improve that. But with 11 seconds, we're gonna take a shot. It's not open. We were hoping the quarterback throws the ball through the back line and we kick the field goal, take the points. I was really proud though of the team, right? We came in, we said it's 3-0 at halftime. Is that going to affect us? And we went right back down there and we scored, right? We returned the kickoff with a great play by Ramir. We ran the play, the double reverse pass. We scored a touchdown, and hey, we're off and playing football again. So I thought we showed resilience in that moment.
Yeah, I mean, he's not lying to you. I mean, he's the coach, and so I think I don't mind him not calling a timeout. I'm good with it either way. You know what I mean? Call timeout, figure it out, or just roll with the flow. I mean, they're flowing.
You had points.
And I will tell you this. If he does call a timeout, right, and say they get stopped on the goal line, then we go right back to when we were Purdue in the first year of Frost. We can't get a half yard. They had it. We had a false start that stymied everything. I'm talking about momentum. It essentially, we had the momentum going all the way down there to the half-yard line. And then the momentum went back to Minnesota, and that's how quick the ebbs and flows of a college football game can go.
Let's hear from Matt Rule, evaluation of quarterback Jeff Sims.
Obviously as a quarterback, you can't have those turnovers, right? Even right before the half, kind of an odd sequence, right? Either it's a touchdown or it's a false start, kind of weird how that happened, right? But I thought he had some really good moments. He had some key throws, especially in that 2-minute drive moving us down the field. Obviously he ran for over 100 yards. He was a dynamic threat in the zone read game, but you have to protect the football, right? And so back foot throws and all those things, that's not what we need. We don't need that. I was prepared to go to overtime. I thought Sat did a really nice job, called some runs, got a couple first downs, turned it into the last drive. So we're going to go down there, take a shot at a long field goal or go out. But this is a first step for Jeff, and we'll coach him and he'll come back. I thought the fumble, the 2 minutes left, like we're gonna go try to run the clock out. We're running the ball for 6 yards. Unfortunate that happened. So.
Yeah, I think really, for everybody listening, this is what I'd probably send you off with. I mean, let's just sit back and I always say, let's peel this onion back, right, to where or who Jeff Sims is, right? He's a he's been in college a while, but he lacks experience, and he lacks this type of football experience. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, he had 2 injury-plagued years after bursting on the scene as a true freshman. That's experience, but it's not real experience because you haven't gotten through a full second year of teams game planning you. Well, defensive have gotten more complex in the last couple of years, and also you're coming to, you know, a conference with one of the best defensive coordinators in the nation, a defense that has been one of the top 6 or 7 in the nation in the last 2 years and maybe 3. So they have a lot of pride in what they're doing. They're ready for you. The first game is the hardest. So really, to be honest with you, I'd send you off with this. Jeff Sims is a very green quarterback. If you don't understand that by now, I'm telling you right now, and I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news. I'm not even going at Jeff Sims. It's just where he's at. And really, to be honest with you, he's a very green quarterback, lacks true football experience at this level, right? And I'd argue with anybody to say, and I would argue that the Big Ten is a step and a half, maybe even 2 higher overall, top to bottom than the ACC where he came from. It's definitely playing at Nebraska is 4 steps higher than playing at Georgia Tech, and that's nothing against Georgia Tech on the ACC. That's just my opinion. So he's just a very inexperienced and green quarterback. So really, when he says we got to coach him and he'll come back strong, they know Jeff Sims is somewhat of a competitive kid, but I think they know he has a lot of work to do. Now it's up to Jeff Sims, Satterfield, Coach Rule, and everybody that coaches the quarterbacks to come up with a game plan that he has to work on every single day. That's the only way this team is going to reach some of the goals or their full potential, even with a razor thin, chances for error. You have to get better, and he's just a green quarterback right now because you saw a lot of good things. Not a lot, but you saw some good things. You saw some good things actually in that last drive, throwing the ball, right? The throw to, in particular, to Marcus Washington, where he could only catch it on the money, right? But that's against basic coverage. Now we got to take a next step. Can we go to our second, third read, and can we move in the pocket and climb in the pocket and all those things with the right fundamentals, with the good base, with the good, raising your elbow up and throwing it. So these are things that he has to consistently work at. These are things that he has to get a lot better at by the time they go up to Boulder. Because if they thought Minnesota was raucous, right?
Yeah.
Which you could tell just watching TV, listening to it. It was loud.
Yeah.
Okay. But Colorado not tomorrow, next week. 2 times louder.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask you, right? As we close things out, we appreciate you guys. Obviously, phone lines were completely full for pretty much the entire show. And then obviously there's a lot of emotion, a lot to talk about after this one. But Jay, you and I will both be in Boulder next Saturday for the Nebraska-Colorado game. We'll do the post-game show from Boulder, so whatever happens out there, we'll be out there. But I would ask you this. They're going to be able to watch Colorado TCU on Saturday. They're going to have a couple extra days to maybe prepare for Colorado. Then Colorado might have to prepare for Nebraska, right? Playing on a Thursday instead of a Saturday. We know this was a learning game, and this is a great teaching potential for film and things like that. What's Nebraska's main priorities going into next Saturday?
Clean themselves up from an execution standpoint. Obviously, quarterback position gets, a lot of the look, but clean themselves up, right? Need to be better in the conventional run game. 16 carries by your 2 best running backs isn't enough. Maybe we'd like to get that up into the mid-20s, right? It's time to find some way. Well, we got to block better. We got to put us in better positions. And so definitely with that, situational football, offense and defense, get better at that. And then, we got to be able to, survive in the next game with Ty Robinson being out in the first half of the next game. So everybody's got to step up. And then also we have to get better at dealing with the soft quotes success. In this case, the defense played good enough to win, but you didn't win. So we can't ride that into and show up to practice, think, oh, we're better than you guys. Because if you think you're going to go up there and play the same type of offensive talent as you did last week, Colorado is going to be ready for you. Expect their best shot, and also really dive into it because it gives you 2 or 3 days of a head start. So you actually should play better. You get to kind of go back to kind of spring ball, fundamentals, but then also get a head start on it because now you have an opponent to play, and you get to watch them play in action with or without your teammates on Saturday.
Yeah, so it's just unfortunately, Jay and I will be here all season long, though, right after the game for about 90 minutes. Who knows? Some games we might go longer, some games might go shorter, but at least 90 minutes here as we walk you guys through, and especially Jay walks you guys through what he saw in every single game. So Nebraska loses a heartbreaker 13-10 on the road at Minnesota. They are 0-1 under Coach Rule in his debut. They'll play Colorado 10 a.m. Boulder time, 11 a.m. Central time here in Lincoln.
Early.
Yep.
Early game, but it's going to be on.
Jay, we got 10 seconds, man.
Hey, man, still supportive. Appreciate everybody's calling in, texting in, and we'll be back next week.
Summer is winding down, but there's no reason to put your golf clubs away. Double Eagle Golf makes golf leagues and events possible year-round. Sign up today for 9-hole leagues this fall, any day from Monday to Friday, starting up September 25th. Check out their deals on monthly memberships and schedule your Husker